How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with my last of my Tyranenas, courtesy of Daniel. Thank you very much, homie. And this is their Carnal Knowledge. This is a double oatmeal stout aged in bourbon barrels with cocoa nibs, coffee, and vanilla bean, son. Yeah, I've really enjoyed the other two bottles I've had from Tyranena. Never heard of these guys before. Daniel sent these off. And they've been really tasty beers. They haven't been earth-shattering, crazy, over-the-top, awesome porters and barrel-aged stuff, which is pretty much everything that's been sent off. But they've been really well made, really tasty. And if these are the kind of barrel-aged beers I would be able to get at my local tap room, I'd be more than happy. So hopefully this one follows suit. The only thing I want out of this one, as opposed to the other ones, I want a little bit more heft, a little bit more mouthfeel. The other ones have come off a little bit light. Now, it's an Imperial Porter. And I don't know the ABV on these because I haven't looked them up on purpose yet. So you're not talking about a super 5C thick kind of mouthfeel, but I want something with a little bit of heft. But that looks the part. It's a bit darker than what the other ones were, so it kind of lends itself to might being a little bit heftier. Label-wise, they do the same label over and over again. It probably looks like the same beer reviewed over and over again, but there's different words on it. So very old school in its labeling, and that beer looks like cola. Looks like Coca-Cola. Let's get a nose. Oh man, that coffee is coming through like crazy. Yeah, big huge coffee and big huge. It's like a cocoa nib. It's like everything's cranked up. The coconut's cranked up, but it's still like a fresh coconut. That chocolate's cranked up, but it's like a cranked up kind of milk chocolate. Then you get that kind of coffee that's cranked up, and there's a soft kind of bourbon sweetness below it. So even the adjuncts are above the barrel. But there's this charriness, there's this smokiness, almost like a peat smokiness to it, which comes off really cool. I'm not one of the biggest kind of smoked beer fans in the world. But the way this kind of coffee, all the adjuncts in the barrel kind of play, comes off very much like a smoked beer to me in a very cool way. So yeah, very much adjunct forward. You still get that roasted malt underneath there. You still get that rich kind of chocolate malt underneath there. So there is a beer to be had. But the adjuncts lead the way. Let's dive in. Cheers. Okay. Very much, I don't want to say muted. Lesser than what the nose would give you to lead you to expect, but not in a negative way. It's beer. And there is a little bit more heft to it than the other beers. Not something, again, markedly different, but a little bit more heft, so I appreciate that. The adjuncts are still there. Heavy. That chocolate, not as big as it was in the nose, but definitely there. That coffee, not nearly as roasty, but definitely there. The coconut is there in the same level it was in the taste, which I can appreciate because I dig me some coconut beers. But that beer definitely elevates itself, so you get more of kind of that roasted malt, a little bit of bittering from roasted malts, a little bit of bittering from the coffee. It just drinks really nice. I take that smoking component that I get on the nose. And oddly enough, in the taste, it comes off more like a star anise, star anise, however you want to say it, to me. A subtly kind of organic, kind of licoricey kind of vibe to it. Not a bad beer by any stretch of the imagination. These have been really fun beers. Again, it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, this is not the best barrel aged this, porter, that kind of adjunct-laden dark beer. But I've had so much worse than this, and it's so much lesser beers from people that kind of really get a lot of praise when it comes to their barrel programs and stuff like that. So it's like a weird brewery to me in that I really enjoy everything I've had, but it sounds like I'm kind of like skirting on the edge whether I like them or not. That's not true. I really do enjoy them. I mean, they're not the best barrel program I've ever had, but they're way better than a lot of barrel programs that I've had. And the way the beers play and how drinkable they are. You're talking about Imperial porters that are very adjunct heavy, that come off super drinkable and super chuggable. Be really hard pressed to find that combination in another brewery. I'm really do dig the beers I've had from these guys, and it's just a fun experience. And I want to, Daniel, thank you very much for sending these off. Super fun beers. Let's cut to the chase. This is one of the better barrel aged dark beers that I've had as of late. It's in a conversation. It's not towards the top. Again, I'm kind of reiterating everything I've always said or already said through this review and the other ones. Just tasty beers, nonetheless. Value availability, no idea. It's Wisconsin based. I have no idea if they reach outside of that state or whatnot. So if Daniel or somebody else wants to let me know what's what, that would be awesome. And leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. if you like barrel-aged dark beers. I mean, this is, again, not anything going to wow you, blow your doors off. You put this up against some of the better barrel-aged beers in the country, it's probably going to be a little bit of a lesser beer, stacked up to the big guns, but there's only few and far between of those, and there's a lot of people doing much less better is that proper English. I said burp in your faces. It's just tasty jam. So if you like tasty barrel-aged jams, this is worth a trip, or worth a pickup. I said trip because I kind of want to visit this place and try these beers like straight off the line. These are all relatively fresh. They don't have a ton of age on them, but still, yeah, good stuff. Thanks, Dan. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. Want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little barrel-aged jammer right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.